But I have a singular honor at this point in time concerning a book written by Dr. Emmanuel and Mrs. Shola Olawale. I got a copy of the book 2 days ago, and I've taken some time to go through it. Up to this morning, I was going through this book. I wish at the time I was just going into marriage, somebody put a copy of this book in my hands. Probably the way I have now developed the attitude of a teacher in the house may not have been there. Some of you in church, you must have heard me saying that, oh, if the mic is not working, and some of us, we are teachers. That's where it's coming from. We have learned how to scream. We've learned how to talk. Why? That came from the end of ignorance. But this book that I have here in my hand, titled A Marriage Road Bumps. Most of us here, if not all of us, we drive on roads. And when you get to the road where you have bumps, I'm sure no one tells you what to do. Automatically, you search out for your brakes. And irrespective of the speed you are coming with, you now begin to move calmly. And the reason why you move calmly is because you do not want to create trouble for yourself. Meanwhile, the people who introduced the road bumps did so because they do not want you to create trouble for them. So at the end of the day, the road bumps serve a positive influence not only to the community, but also you, who is the driver, so that you don't go ahead to knock down an innocent person beside or trying to cross the road. This book in my hand, when I was going through it, I spoke with the authors. And part of what we discussed was it is accumulation of all the past experiences, as it were. More so, their own personal experience too, when they came into marriage. And they have aptly described marriage as institution, which it is, no doubt. And we all know that when we are admitted, particularly on the day of the wedding, and you are admitted into that institution, you go there to do some learning. But it will be very nice if you have taken time before you get into the department you are going, and you've been able to read something about that very department and the course, so that you will not end up with a lot of surprises. I am not saying that after going through a kind of reading concerning the course you want to take in the university, or reading something about the university, you will still not meet somehow and occasionally some level of surprises, either because of the classroom or the lecturer or whatever it is. But you will have put yourself in a very good stead, as it were, if you have read something about what you are going to meet. Not just that, after you have even graduated from the course, sometimes it is necessary to go back concerning your experiences as you are now practicing. See the way you have been taught. Go through the books, as it were, and see what the authors have to say concerning your present experience. And that is the position that this book is actually taking. If you are just coming into marriage, this is a unique book for you And I've just said that so that all of us here, I recognize we are all married people, but you have around you one or two who are just getting ready to go into it. This will be a fantastic gift to them. And for you that has been there for some years, like we heard, one of our coordinators here said she's been there 34 years. Huge. I will not tell you how long the author has been, because she married at least a year before me. We left the medical school the same year, but he has started the game at least a year ahead. And with all the experience he's put together here, I think I like to say this book is an indispensable thing on your shelf, that from time to time you can read, not just for yourself, but also when you have reason to counsel others, you have relevant and very important things to say to the would-be couple. Now, let me tell you some of the things you'll come across if you take time to read this book. The chapters in chapter 1, talking about why marriage bombs, relationship, sex in marriage, which some pastors like myself we want to dodge. We are being holy, praise God. So when the would-be couple come, we talk about everything, and talking about sex in marriage, they will figure that out themselves. And by the time they figure out at that time, they say, but pastor didn't say anything about this. But this book will be very helpful. Not only because it's written by a medical doctor, but because it's also written by someone who has level of experience as a child of the Most High. Emotional intelligence. You find that topic very, very handy. And I recommend that to all of us. Today, this morning, when I was going through that chapter, I just said to myself, I'll come back to it. Very, very important. Because some of the things we are seeing in different homes may have been handled probably a lot better if we had known what the author has put in here. Control in relationship. I mentioned earlier when I was speaking concerning someone who, instead of being a lover, wants to be the lover. I think this book will be very helpful. Communication in relationship. Everybody has been told this, but there's a dimension that this author has given to it. I highly recommend it. Money matters in marriage. I will be surprised when we come to question and answer. Here, in that QA, no one is asking any question about that. Because if we want to be authentic and we want to face it as it's supposed to, you don't come to marriage counseling and you are not talking about money. Money, 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 money. Praise God. My pastor said, if he has his way, that's portion of scripture that says money answereth all things, he will expunge it. As a thank God you are not the author. Praise God. Chapter 8. Knowing me and knowing you. Do you know your spouse? Big assumption that we know each other. That's why we have brought ourselves to the altar. But you soon discover when you get to, which I'm sure most of you here will tell us, you are just knowing each other. Praise God. And then chapter 9 came up as a statement. Marriage is not a trial, but a life commitment. Somebody needs to say that again. Why? Because some of us, not only do we go into marriage as something that we want to give a try, a trial too. But something that, well, if it works, fine. And if it doesn't, we look for alternate way. For us as Christians, we are bold, indeed, confidently say there's no alternate route out once you are in. In the Redeemed Christian Church of God, please bear with me for those of you who are not part of that commission. The founder said, in other words, as soon as you marry, that's it. There's no option as to the way out. Because what you declare to is until death do you part. And this book has addressed that part seriously. The printer has given us 103 pages concerning this book. But I'll say this to you. Going by the way I want to number pages of book, I will say to you it has 107 pages. The marriage road bumps. How to recognize the road bumps on your marital journey and avoid them. I recommend this book.